Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly.
She says that she wants him to correct his statement so it makes sense why we sent them there. No, lady, it doesn't make sense why we sent $50 million worth of condoms anywhere.
Even if it was 50 million condoms.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not our job for someone else's condoms.
This is what Americans are saying no. And we are putting our feet down about us hardworking Americans. And I feel like if you haven't worked the majority of your life, you need to quiet down a little bit and put your listening ears on. Okay. I've worked for the majority of my life. I'm concerned that the next half that I need to work, that I'm going to work and there's not going to be anything there for me because we're paying for $50 million for condoms. A government should never be paying for something like that, ever.
Especially considering we borrow that money. We're borrowing $50 million from another country and from the world's debt, basically. We're creating debt to give 50 million, even if it's 50 million condoms and not $50 million in condoms. I think that's kind of the problem we get off on here, is that somehow it matters whether it was 50 million condoms or $50 million or whether it went to Gaza or Mozambique. It doesn't matter. We don't want to give 50 million condoms away to somebody else. Pay for your own condoms.
Yeah, we're tired as the working American people of this waste. And what's even more bothersome about it is there's people, members of Congress, senators, Democrats, who feel like we shouldn't even be finding this. We shouldn't even know about this. And they're all mad at Elon because he's the messenger. This is what happens when there's a messenger and someone bringing bad news. People want to shoot down the messenger. And I almost wonder they're trying to focus so much on Elon and he doesn't have a right. Well, what do you have to hide? Why are you so worried then of what he's going to go in and find? Because it is not going to stop. So even if it isn't Elon for some reason, someone else is going to throw their nuts up on the table and Trump's going to bring them in and they're going to look. So we're going to look. There's no more games. You're not going to be able to waste our money like this again. Oh, unless maybe the Democrats get back in power. Then this might happen again. And trust us, as long as there are people with brains in their heads and who are working for their money and concerned for their future, we're not going to let the Democrats get back in power. We are going to unite together and vote, because we can't work for the rest of our lives to never retire, to send condoms to other countries. Unfortunately, we cannot take care of every country in the world. And that is the biggest difference between Democrats and Republicans. The Democrats want to think with their bleeding hearts and their emotions, and Republicans think more with our brains and taking care of our own and ourselves and our borders.
Well, no one asked you, is the thing, actually.
Actually, we did ask him. That's why the American people voted in Trump. We don't believe you and the media and Joe Biden and the government that was there and everything that was telling us. You guys were telling us, oh, we might have to raise taxes. Oh, you guys just kicked up retirement from age 65 to age 67. All for this. If you hadn't been wasting our money and doing these things, we may not even have to pay as much in taxes as what we're hearing. We may not even have to have the retirement age at 67. Maybe it would get bounced back to 65. So you are out of touch, because over 50% of Americans do care what Elon says, or somebody who's going to go in and balance the budget and start questioning these huge amounts. I don't want my money spent towards this. So if you do, go ahead. You can pay all the people's portions who don't, because you're clearly not worried about your checkbook.
Matter of fact, hold on. We actually voted because of this. We wanted this. Matter of fact, I'll tell you this straight up. It would have helped the Democrats quite a bit if the Democrats had wanted to do this. I think a lot of people probably would have voted Democrat if they were willing to do this.
You know, that's what's so insulting, is that you sit here and act like we don't have a right to care, that because the Democrats were in power, that you guys were just able to do this. No, nobody knew you were doing it. Okay, nobody knew that this was the level that it was being taken to, and is what's been going on. And finally, someone said, and I'm glad this happened. I'm glad that the shoe's on the other foot, because I don't think it's ever going to change back. And I don't know why anybody would want someone in power like you.
Yeah, I hope people never go back to sleep. I hope people realize now that the government's been ripping them off, and left and right, both people start waking up. And
this woke, we're all woke, and that's going on. No, it's a nightmare. What I say to people is, come out of the nightmare, come into reality. Get off your phone so much, get into the real world. Okay, don't listen to people like this guy who clearly does not live like an average person. Okay, because an average person would care where their money is going and would not just say, oh, well, we had a spending package that this was all covered under. No, we're going to change it. This is never going to, money is never going to be spent and wasted this way again. And I would like pictures of who did this, who okayed these spending packages. And where are those details in there that says that these were the things that they were going to specifically be okayed for? Because I think it was more people found loopholes. They found loopholes, and what can we burn this money on? What can we waste this money on? We got all this money. We don't want to give it back. Giving it back would have been the right thing to do. And nobody wants to give it back or put it towards our deficit. No, we bought ice cream trucks. We sent people to Vegas, to hotels, to casinos. It's the spending that has occurred is absolutely in absurd. And anybody who thinks that it's any smart spending, or that's going to set our country up for economic success and our children, is nuts. It's nuts. You wouldn't run your own household like this. I wouldn't just sit here and be, $1 million in debt in my own household, and continuing to pull these lines of credit to then give to my neighbors or to my friends for them to go out and have nice dinners with, or to buy boats with, and things to that extent. That's ludicrous. You have to look at this like you run your own household. And once you're in so much debt, the bank's going to cut you off. Okay?
You're going to break the game. You're so good. New high score.
What does high score mean? New high score, is that bad?